Okay, so you have a great website. You just need to get people to it. So how do you do that? We've all asked ourselves this question. How can we get more people to our website? We've spent a lot of time and likely a lot of money creating the perfect site. But what good is it if we can't get our customers and prospects there? And oh, by the way, let's do it quickly. The users are out there. They need our products and services. We've done the studies. We know what we need. We just need to get them there. Fortunately, in today's marketing world, there are many ways that we can drive potential customers and prospects to our website. Messaging, direct mail, social channels, and new marketing tools are all great ways to drive our customers from various media types to our website. So let's start with direct mail. This particular example is one that we used for a mailing that LexNet did last year as a part of our virtual tailgate. A simple postcard like this one, a self-mailer, or even a letter package can be an avenue that can transport your user from the printed piece to the web. And this particular example has a couple of different ways. One way is through a personalized URL. So we've taken tailgatelexnet.com. That was a special URL that we purchased for the campaign. And then the recipient's name is out on the end, first name dot last name. You'll notice that we included that twice on the card. This is on the back of the card. It was also on the front of the card. And we've made sure that it was easy to read and easy to find. In addition, for this postcard, we also used a QR code. The quick response code was a great way to drive the user from the printed piece through their smartphone right into our personalized landing page that we had created for this user. There's some rules that you want to follow when creating a personalized landing page or a PURL address. Typically, you'll use websitename.com/firstname.lastname. That's completely up to you what you use for your URL address. There are some things to remember though. Lexanet.net/myfirstname.lastname. Good example of a personalized URL. It's short, it's sweet, it's something that I'll remember. Dashes typically are not a good idea when creating a URL. And another bad idea or bad practice is to include multiple uses of the same letter throughout your URL. And really that's just because it's way more commonly mistyped. If you've got two T's, two E's, you've typed in URLs before when you wonder, okay, is it one T or two? Is it one E or two? What should I do? So just remember that there are good practices for URLs and bad practices for URLs. And again, websitename.com, in our case, we purchased a special URL because it was something that our users could remember about the campaign that we were implementing. Use simple and easy to remember URLs and display them appropriately on your outbound marketing piece. Put them on the front of the piece, on the back of the piece. If you're using a window envelope, if you have a letter campaign, that's fine. Make sure the URL shows through the window. And oftentimes, it's not even a bad idea to highlight the URL with the use of color. Second best practice. Personalize your landing page and including relevance through segmentation, huge driver of conversions. Personalized landing pages and the use of a PURL or a personalized landing page It's proven to increase your conversion rates from 50 to 130%. That's huge, a huge increase in the number of conversions that you're creating when you're driving users to their website. And personalized landing pages aren't as difficult or expensive as you might envision. It's just a matter of creating a page and then varying elements based on the recipient. It could be their name, it could be images that are used on the landing page that are relevant to the user. Relevance, segmentation, and personalization, all very important part of a landing page. And as I mentioned, tomorrow we'll have a webinar specifically on segmentation and at what point do you cross the line of ineffective segmentation? Where's the line of moderating your segmentation so it makes sense? Third best practice for personalized URLs. Design landing pages that are optimized for conversion. Make sure that if you're using a QR code, that you are taking them to a page that is mobile compliant. It's a huge mistake that's made often. You create a QR code, you take the user to a landing page, they're going to read the QR code with their smartphone, and then the page that you take them to is not mobile compliant. Something you definitely need to watch for. And make sure that the call to action on the landing page is easy to read. Make it simple for your user to take the step to provide you with the information that you need to make the purchase that you want them to purchase. Any action item that you want on your website that they land on, make it easy for the user to actually convert and to take that action. One way you can do that, if your purpose is to go take the user from a printed piece or a poster or a billboard to your website and you want to collect additional information from that user, pre-fill as much information as you can. Now obviously if it's a billboard, you're not going to know who's scanning that code, so it's going to be a generic URL that you're taking them to. We refer to those as girls versus a pearl. If you're going to a personalized URL, however, and you've created that URL specifically for an individual, then make sure and pre-fill as much information as you can for the user when they're coming to enter that information. You'll be amazed at how much easier it is to collect that data when you give them a head start. And don't stop selling on the form, on the collection form, or on the thank you page. Continue to provide your message, continue your call to action, continue to be a source of help all the way through the process. Leverage the analytics for optimization and delivering leads on a real-time basis to your sales channel. When you use a personalized URL, whether with a QR code or just having the user type it in, it could perhaps be a link in an email, you know immediately that someone has hit that URL, and if you're doing a good job with your analytics, you also know which sites or which places within your site that recipient has gone to. That information is all critical for your sales channel to have to be able to continue with the transaction and continue with the relationship. So use those analytics to your benefit to continue to get the results that you want. And this information, PODI is a great organization. It's one that we belong to and support through our annual membership. Great source of information, and in fact, PODI provides quite a bit of the information that's in our LexNet Resource Center on the LexNet website. So please feel free to check that out. You can go to lexnetcorporation.com. And on the home page, you'll find a link to Customer Zone, and Customer Zone will link you straight to that resource center. And I believe that personalized URL best practices are a part of the resource center right now, along with several other valuable pieces of information. QR codes. QR codes are great, and they're a great way to bridge the gap between a mobile device and your website, and it's a great driver of information, a way to bring people from a printed piece. Perhaps it's a postcard, perhaps it's a box on a product. It could be a CD case. It could be a menu. There's just so many ways that QR codes can be used. You'll notice if you go to Home Depot, Best Buy, if you read your favorite magazine, often it's going to take you to a video or a demonstration that you're accessing directly by scanning the QR code. So here's some best practices for QR codes. First, create your marketing campaign and make sure that your campaign drives the use of the QR code, not the other way around. If it doesn't, don't use QR codes just to use them. Yes, they're fun and they're great and they're new technology, but if the majority of your prospects and customers don't have smartphones, or if they're not likely to scan the code, it just doesn't make sense. Make sure that the QR code fits with your overall marketing campaign and with your marketing goal. And maybe it's a piece of the campaign, but it's not the only way to get to the content that you're looking for. Make the QR code worth decoding. In order to incent the user to scan the QR code, they must believe that it's worth their time to do so. What value will the user receive by scanning the code? Will they get a tip on how to use a product? Will they see a demonstration of the product? Will they receive a coupon? What's the value that the user is going to receive by downloading or scanning the code and going to your website? Again, QR codes are scanned by a mobile device, so the landing page that you need to take the user to has to be mobile compliant. If it's not, you're really losing the user experience that you're looking for, and your user's likely going to be frustrated. Multiple paths to response, very important. You might have noticed on the LexNet slide that we saw earlier. I'm going to back up here real quick. Right beside the QR code, it said to view this code, you must use a smartphone and download a QR code reader, such as ScanLife. ScanLife's just one. There are several. Many are free, the QR code readers. Although QR codes are a great avenue to your website for those that want to use it, don't let it be an obstacle. So first, let them have a way to find the QR code reader if it's not already installed on their phone. Many of the new phones, I apologize for the distraction, but many of the new phones will absolutely already have a barcode scanner on the phone. Some will not. So just let them know how to download that. And two, always give your users the option to go directly to the website. So if they choose not to scan with their smartphone, or if they don't have a smartphone, make sure and include the address, which we did with the Pearl on our postcard example. Let them be able to just type in the destination URL and go directly to the landing page with their computer versus with their mobile device. And again, just follow the instructions with the code. Make sure the instructions are printed where the QR code is. And we've listed the address. Their QR codes are becoming more and more common, but that doesn't mean that your users already scanned one. So adding just a small bit of text on your marketing piece can make the process much easier for your users and increase your scan rates. So far we've talked about direct mail as a driver to your website. We talked about QR codes and personalized URLs as a driver to your website. Email can also be a great driver to your website. It takes the user from their email inbox to the web. It could be their email inbox on their computer. It could be their email inbox on their phone. Embed links to your website when emailing those customers and prospects. that have opted into receiving your email messages. And remember, just because you're using email doesn't mean that your links can't still be personalized. Incorporating a personalized URL into an email is no more difficult or cumbersome than it is to add it into a direct mail piece. So taking the user to a personalized landing page, increasing your response rates and conversions, we said 50 to 130%, is still important for email just as it was for mail. Social media. Social media can be absolutely used to drive social friends and fans to your website. These are people that may not be a part of your database, your marketing database, your mailing list that you have on file. They may be referred to virally. Need to catch up here. Link to the personalized URL and to the website from an email. So that's an effective way to use email to your benefit. Referrals from friends or friends of friends are a great way to virally spread the word about your business. They may be people that you don't even know they exist, don't know that they're friends of friends, don't know that they have an appreciation for your business, your organization, what you're doing. Use that and include links on your Facebook page, your LinkedIn profile, your Twitter page. Make sure you include links to your website on all of your social channels. Post content from your website along with the link to it on your wall, on your status updates. Encourage readers to follow the link to your blog or to your website. Encourage them to comment. By posting information on your social channels, you're able to reuse that content in multiple places, and you're still taking the user directly to your website, which was your goal. So you can insert links to your blog directly in your status update. There are several ways that you can do it. Now with Twitter, you are limited to 140 characters. Facebook recently updated the number of characters that you can use for a status update to 5,000. It's kind of a fine line because you certainly don't want to put too much content. You still want to be to the point. You want to be direct and you want to be relevant, but you do have more characters to work with. Twitter, not the case. You have 140 characters. You need to be precise, but you still want to take the user to your website. So how do you do that? Well, one way you can is to use bit.ly or another URL shortener. Put in your whole website address to the specific page that you want the user to go to. And in a case like Twitter, you're not taking them to a personalized landing page, most likely. You're taking them to a generic landing page. Put that URL in, shorten it, and then take the shortened URL to Twitter to post. Twitter also, if you're using a scheduling service like Hootsuite, for example, they will shorten it for you automatically as a part of the post. There is some debate about whether or not you should use shorteners. One argument is that if the user doesn't know where they're going, like in this case, OJ9WOD means absolutely nothing to people. So if you think that they will be less likely to click on the link and go to your website by using a shortened URL, maybe you don't want to do that. But with 140 characters to work with, sometimes it's necessary, and definitely something that you'll want to test instead of just assume one way or another. Test it. See if they open it. With all of the social tools, you have very easy ways to tell what's working, what's not, trend it, analyze the data, and determine what's generating hits to your website and what's not. One last note before we go into our conversation segment. In addition to driving people to your website and increasing your response rate and sales through email, direct mail, social networks, QR codes, tools like that, it's also very important to make sure that your website is optimized for search engines. And I think that's something that we all know we need to do, and sometimes we don't put as much focus as we should toward SEO. In addition to your outbound marketing, there are people searching online every day for the products and services that you offer, that we offer, that we want them to find us. Make sure they find you and not your competitors by making sure that you've applied SEO best practices to your website. You may be sending all kinds of marketing messages out, but we don't know who's looking for us. We talked in the last webinar about sending the right message at the right time through the right channels to the right people. We don't always know who those right people are that are looking for us right now. So if they're searching for our products and services right now today, we need to make sure that they find us, and SEO is one way to do that. SEO can be complex, and working with a marketing services provider that's an expert in SEO, in my opinion, is a very worthwhile expense and a way to make sure that we're practicing good practices with SEO and that our prospective audience is finding us. Because the whole point of all of our marketing and when we're driving people to the web is to increase our response rate, increase our conversions, and increase our revenues. Now we've kind of reached the end of the presentation. What I'd like to do now is, we've been muted during the first part of the segment. What I'd like to do now is to unmute everyone on the call and give you the opportunity to share with us, if you would, some best practices that you've learned from your direct mail or your social media or email, ways that you've found that you've been able to drive people to the website, to your website. And you will need a microphone for us to be able to hear you. If you don't have a microphone, please feel free to share with us in the chat ways that you've found that you've been able to bring people to the web through marketing. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute everyone now. Sorry, apparently I have to do it one at a time. And you'll receive an audio pin if you want to speak, or again, please feel free to just send us a chat. We'd like to know what you have done in the past that has been successful. And we heard earlier from one of our friends at Texas A&M University, and they're using QR codes in their monthly magazine to drive their donors to the web. That's been very successful for them. So is there anyone that would like to share with the group what they do to drive traffic to the web? I'm sorry, we just turned our... No one wants to share? Okay, well, feel free to send your thoughts and your ideas through the chat, or feel free to contact us later. We would love to discuss. I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone again. Sorry, hopefully that removes any background noise. We would love to discuss your ideas with you, ways in which we could help you drive more people to your website. Again, please check out the Resource Center on the LexNet site. In fact, let's just take a look at it. Again, go to the LexNet page, go to Customer Zone, and then you'll come to the Resource Center. We have best practices for digital printing, top 10 personalized URL best practices. There are articles for dealer channels, education, response rates. There's a lot of great resources here available, and this information changes potentially every month. So each month you can come back and see what's new, and you can just download this information, take it straight to your computer, and you're welcome to use it as well. So just another way that we want to be able to help provide information to our customers, to our prospects, and even to people that we may never work with ever, but we're just glad to be a connection. So again, please feel free to join us on Twitter, hashtag LexNet20. Our username is LexNetMKTG. Also, go ahead and join us on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And we just got a question in. The question is, have you seen any articles about great successes yet in companies using QR code? Still seems quite new, many people not yet familiar with what they are. And I agree completely with that. Although QR codes may have been around the marketing world for a while, it does not mean that your users necessarily know what they are or know how to effectively incorporate those into a marketing campaign. QR codes have a tremendous amount of power and potential. The tracking information that you can receive from a QR code is great, but you have to be able to get your users to use them. If you sit down at a restaurant anytime in the near future, look at the ketchup bottle. Ketchup bottles often have QR codes on them. And I haven't scanned one to see what it goes to. I need to do that. But there are QR codes on those. Best Buy, Home Depot, they all have QR codes. Just ways that you can put information into the QR code that directs your user to the place that you want them to be able to go. So thought we had another question here, but it looks like just a comment, which is great. We appreciate that too. Again, if you have any questions at all, please feel free to contact us after the webinar. Go to the website. There is also a great QR code document that's on SlideShare under the LexNet account. Sorry, reading another question. Very true. Challenge is that people have to have a pretty current mobile device to be able to read QR codes. Very true. Part of it depends on how well the QR code is put together, how much information is stored within the QR code itself, and how much, how new the phone is. That's very true. Resolutions of the phone make a difference. Pixels on the phone make a difference, obviously, but QR codes are definitely something for the future. On SlideShare, if you search LexNet, you will see a QR code document. I believe it's called New Frontier. It's a great, great document that talks about QR codes and how they can be used effectively. We'd invite you to download that document and take a look at it as well. And it is on SlideShare. So I think we've answered all the questions. We appreciate you being a part of it today. We have 3 more webinars tomorrow. Again, we still have prizes to give away on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. And we hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much for attending.